Hello, my name is Jennifer Bond, and I'm currently a middle school teacher at Clifford Smart Middle School in Walled Lake. And this is going to be somewhat of my presentation that I was going to do at MACUL 2020. I'm glad that I'm able to share it with you, regardless of the distance that separates us. As some of these tools, I have added some things to modify this presentation to particularly tackle some of our distance learning that we're going to be doing for the next few weeks. So here we go. A little bit about me. Again, my name is Jennifer Bond. You can contact me on Twitter at Team Bond, and I'm a design technology teacher at Clifford Smart Middle School. Prior to that, I have spent the last 20 years as an elementary teacher at Glengarry Elementary, many of those years being a third grade teacher. I'm also co-owner of Ore Creek Craft Cider, which just opened at the beginning of October. So our families have been busy having fun being entrepreneurs. I am a wife and of 19 years now, and I'm also a mom of two teenagers, kind of. My daughter will be a teenager at the end of this month, so she's definitely teenage mentality, but technically won't be 13 until the end of the month. And one of the things about me is I'm just passionate about all things creative and innovative. So the link to the presentation right now is a bit.ly link, and I just did, fun with formative assessments, FWFA, MACUL 20. And you can have access to this presentation if you would like. Formative assessment, just in a definition, is getting to know where the children are at as far as their learning while you're teaching, so you can make modifications to your teaching as you go, and just kind of on the fly, knowing how you can adapt your lessons, right on the spot, or maybe in the days to come after you've done some of the formative assessment. It just helps you guide through a lesson or a unit based on what you're seeing from your students. One of the things I've used in the past is Plickers. And Plickers is a great way that you can collect the data. The children have their own paper Plickers, or you can purchase actual laminated Plicker cards from plickers.com. And it allows you to create questions. I've done it right on the fly as far as on my phone, creating a question when we've been doing a time for kids or certain, group read alouds. But it is able to house all of the data that you collect. You have a score sheet, which is pretty much your grade book for all of the questions that you've done, giving you reports. I went ahead, let me see if I can find it right here. This is when I first started, 2014, when I first found it and did this whole, scanning. And those were the Plicker cards that you can get. But it tracks your data. So this is from 2014. I'm sure it does not look exactly like this anymore, but you can get the gist. That on your screen, you're able to see a bar graph of how your children have answered. So it's a great tool to really, truly do formative assessment on the fly. But of course, there's also other tools. So if you were part of my presentation at MACUL or intending to, I had a bunch of little PlayDoh things, and I was going to just show like some of the fun ways you could use even PlayDoh, especially in math with like symmetry. You could use it for subitizing. You can use it for fractions. You can use it for a lot of different things, and kids and adults even like to play with PlayDoh. So we were going to have a little fun with that. Also, some things that people don't really think about are just like games. One of the games that I was just recently tuned into from a neighbor is the game Utter Nonsense. And it has a bunch of cards, kind of like Cards for Humanity or Apples to Apples, but where you actually have to use a different accent to say the sentence. You have, a handful of different sentences. And then the person that is like the judge has an accent card. And in this case, it would be pirate. So people, I look both ways before you cross your mother, or however you want to say those things. But it just could be a fun way for children to practice their fluency in just a different way. Because a lot of times we have to make our teaching novel so they can have multiple exposures to the same type of skill and they don't even know that, we're testing them on that. Boom Goes the Dynamite is a neat game for math sense. You can find it online. I found it on a, what is where funding. Oh, Kickstarter. There we go. It's a Kickstarter campaign. But those types of things where they're reading, it's a great reading assessment tool. But then Boom Goes the Dynamite, or games like, is it 24 or something like that, can be good for math sense. In addition, Google Slides. There's a lot. Google tools are wonderful for formative assessment. I've used Google Slides to be able to be utilized during a read aloud. In the case of the Secret Zoo read aloud, we created a whole vocabulary kind of chart. I created a whole slideshow, creating a slide for every child, and then created a grid. So what I did is actually just duplicated the first slide, and then I went ahead and just made sure I had enough for every child. And then I had the children go ahead and pick a slide and put their name on it. It's probably more helpful to give them their student number. The only thing that kind of throws it off is that first slide. So I would say if you were going to do it on your own, just create a bunch of the table slides with the grids. And then when you're all done, then maybe create the title slide. So at least the slide numbers coordinate with their student number. And then they can go ahead and, as they're listening, write down the words that they are noticing. But you can do this. You can have children, go ahead and create images and take pictures of things, and be able to jot down their understanding as you're going. Other things that you can do with Google include doing book snaps. And so book snaps, just like you would be using the webcam on a Chromebook or on a PC, whatever you're using as your technology device, and you actually have the children hold up the textbook or hold up their own independent reading, and you give a skill kind of expectation. So they can annotate over the picture and be able to use that. But you can do that on Google Slides too. You can use it on Google Drawings. So it's able to be done anyway. Book snaps, there's a lot of great resources out there. So if you want to go check that out, you can. SeeSaw is one thing that I've used in elementary and I continue to use in middle school. I use it as my digital kind of portfolio for the kids because, as you see, the projects that I have in design technology do not fit in a little paper organizer. So we need to take videos and take pictures of the projects we're creating so we can keep track of what we've created. SeeSaw has a lot of great resources for help getting started. I believe they have like PD in your PJs that you can also go ahead and utilize, but it definitely captures all the learning. Students have the choice, and when they're posting to a student journal, photos, videos, drawings, links, notes, all different things that you can go ahead and capture whatever you want them to do. I'm going to be using this moving forward in the weeks ahead for children to take pictures of what they're creating at home. I'm creating links for some of the computer science things that I'm going to have them do. And I think that it will be a worthwhile resource because that's what we use anyway in class. So we're going to continue our learning on SeeSaw. FlipGrid is another wonderful tool. It relies on video. And last year, when we had a lot of cold days, we used FlipGrid to record some of at-home learning. We had children posting recipes they were doing, board games they were playing with their family. I just went ahead and added a Rube Goldberg play so kids can work on their kinetic energy and, cause and effects by creating their own Rube Goldberg machines and showcasing them to the community of elementary kiddos and families. But really, you can have a wide assortment, showcase your math. They can go ahead and model story problems and act them out. They could tell people, about their books and what they really liked about it, recommendations for books. We did a thing just for focusing on the other people matter mindset. What have you done that has made a difference in other people's lives? So it's a good way. And I think these video things are going to be nice because we'll be able to have like a face-to-face kind of interactions, especially for our youngest learners. Kahoot is fun, and they've actually opened up access to be able to have people utilize their tools during this school shutdown. And I think it'd be super fun for people to actually have Kahoot challenges. Of course, you're going to have to make sure kids are, on at the same time to have the full regular Kahoot. But there's definitely ways that you can utilize this while we're not in school. GIMPKit, if I was at MACUL, we were going to play some GIMPKit, and GIMPKit is pretty cool because it's very similar to Kahoot, but it was created by a high schooler. So it's created by a high schooler and kind of launched last year and exploded. I had the opportunity to go out to dinner with the GIMPKit team, and it's just really cool because kids can have a kit collab where they can add their own questions, and then everyone gets to play. It also really reinforces economic concepts of investment and different things that, compounded interest kind of things. And it's nice to be able to have that same type of review game, but have conversations after. BreakoutEDU is another wonderful company that has opened up some breakout or digital breakouts that kids can do at home, families can do at home to be able to reinforce concepts. So you can go to Fun at Home with BreakoutEDU. I did create a screencast on it that you can utilize. But here you go with the way all of the digital breakouts are organized by grade level. And they give you the topic, which is like a lot of the standards, tell and write time from analog and digital clocks to the nearest 5 minutes using AM and PM. I'm going to tell you, all kids need practice with that. You get the content areas, you get the grade levels, you get the standards. So this is a win-win because it's fun and it reinforces the concepts that we're working on in school. So I highly encourage BreakoutEDU. And then Maker Fun, hands-on Maker Fun. I have done formative assessment using hands-on building for a lot of different things. We did explore roller coasters where children were able to create the roller coaster based on the life of an early explorer. Just giving kids a bunch of junk and say, okay, create, fractions, blah, blah, blah. Or in the upper right-hand corner, we had cultural regions for Native Americans, and they had to create something that represented their cultural region. Kids have fun when you give them things to make and create, and it's a way to see the learning too. Even if they're just playing and making, throwing in the little, hey, can you make a pattern with those beads? And they might just have beads out there just randomly, but they're allowed to be able to show you things. Hey, what shape is that? Just as they're playing, you can do things like that, just learning on the go and check the box that they know they're 3D shapes. So hands-on making also has a lot of opportunities. What angle did you put that paper roller coaster on? There's opportunities all over for people to be guessing or not guessing. I'm checking in on the mathematical knowledge, reading knowledge, anything while they're playing. So as far as other resources, I was going to fill up, a bunch of different things with some formative assessment tools, but you can Google that, or Common Sense Media is a great tool for some of the top tools for formative assessments. And then it's been going around Facebook, it's been going around a lot of different places, so much so that they had to create a formal site. So now that great Google Doc that has all the companies that have offered free resources and subscriptions, you can just go to amazingeducationalresources.com and utilize the at-home learning things that companies are reaching out and offering up. So with that, if you have any questions, just go ahead and contact me. On Twitter, I can be found at Team Bond. Voxer, I love voxing, chatting back and forth. My username is Jen Bond. And then you can also email me at teamthirdgrade@gmail.com. So thank you so much. Good luck and keep connecting. Bye.